Hello students, this is Gaikwad sir, and once again I welcome you all to this video lecture of Unity Public School. So my dear students, I hope that you all are fine and doing well at your homes. And I hope that you all are watching the videos of geography daily. So yesterday we discussed about the new topic of geography, that is the population. Okay, so today again we are going to begin the new chapter of geography, that is human settlements. Okay, so the new chapter we are going to begin today. So today we are going to just have the first part of human settlements. Okay, so basically we will discuss about the human settlements of Brazil and the human settlements of India. So let's begin the chapter. So at the beginning we will discuss the settlements of India. So my dear students, identify the type of settlements. So here on your screen you can see the different types of settlements. There are the two images of the settlements. So in the first image you can see the houses are very close, and in the second image you can see that the houses are far away. So can you identify the type of settlements? I hope that you already have learned this in the earlier classes. Okay, so let us find out the types of settlements. So dear students, basically we have the two types of settlements in the world: rural settlement and the urban settlement. Now what are the things come under the rural settlement and the urban settlement? The settlements which we find in the villages are called the rural settlements, and the settlements which we find in the town or the cities are called the urban settlements. So let us discuss this one by one, the rural settlement and the urban settlement. In rural settlement we find the different settlements, okay, that I will explain you further. Now just try to understand the difference between the rural settlement and the urban settlement. So here you can see I have given here the differences between the rural settlement and the urban settlement. So you can see here the amenities which we find in the rural and the urban settlements are totally different. They are not the same. Means the facilities or the services which we find in the rural and the urban are totally different. For example, in rural settlements we find no safe water. On the other hand, in urban settlement we find the safe tap water. What about the transport? The transport on foot we find in the rural settlement, and in the urban settlement we find a good transport network. It means we find the different types of buses, okay, which are on the regular time, even though we find the metros, railways in the urban settlement, but these facilities we do not find in the rural settlement. Then in the rural settlement, okay, basically the people grow their food by their own only, but in the urban settlement, okay, they import the food. They have to bring the food from the other places. Poor public services or the facilities we find in the rural settlements, but on the other hand in the urban settlement we find the available services. For example, the schools, okay, we find the number of schools in the urban settlements. We find the number of hospitals in the urban settlements, and also we find the different types of shopping malls in the urban settlements, but these facilities we do not find in the rural settlements. Also we find the different types of institutions in the urban settlements, but we do not find this in the rural settlement. Then the universities also we find in urban settlements, which we do not find in the rural settlement. So these are the differences between the rural settlement and the urban settlement. Okay, now what are the types of the rural settlement? Let us understand. So here the settlement patterns. So there are the three types of settlement patterns. You can see here: dispersed, then the linear settlement pattern, and the nucleated settlement pattern. So basically it is dispersed and the nucleated settled patterns are the part of these rural settlements. Okay, so these two types of patterns, dispersed and the nucleated settlement patterns, we are going to discuss in this chapter. So these two types of patterns basically we find in our India and in Brazil. So in India we can see a variety of settlement patterns. So as we see the varieties of settlement patterns in our India, so these varieties of settlement patterns, okay, are given the variety of climatic factors, availability of water, slope of land, okay, and level of development. So these are the things we find in the variety of settlement patterns basically. Okay, so here you can see about the nucleated pattern. So what is nucleated pattern? So actually these are the place where building are clustered around the central point. Basically at the central point we find the huge buildings. So the central point can be town square, religious center, road junction, or a name, or a mine. So maximum use of land is nucleated setting. Okay, so maximum land is made available to build the different types of buildings in the nucleated settlement pattern. Okay, where do we find this nucleated settlement pattern? So basically in India we find the nucleated settlement pattern in the plateau region of Narmada Valley, paddy lands in Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, then Vindhya Plateau, and in the cultivated areas of India. So in these regions we find the nucleated settlement pattern. What about the dispersed settlement pattern? What is meant by dispersed settlement pattern? So these dispersed settlement patterns are small groups of buildings. So they are separated from the next group by several kilometers. You can see in the image that the houses are far away from each other. So there is a distance between the houses, which we do not find in the nucleated settlement pattern. So in the dispersed settlement pattern, the houses are far away from each other. Now where do we find such types of settlements? So dispersed type of settlement we find in the tribal parts of our India. Okay, basically in the central part of our India. And also the eastern and the southern Rajasthan also we find the dispersed type of settlement pattern. Not only in the eastern and southern Rajasthan, but also we find this in the Himalayan slopes. In the Himalayan slope also we find that the houses are so much far away from each other. Then the land with dissected and uneven topography. Okay, in such region also we find the dispersed type of settlement pattern. So my dear students, this dispersed type of settlement pattern and the nucleated settlement pattern we find in our India. So basically this type of pattern you will see around you also. Okay, in the villages of our India, earlier basically, nowadays the villages are becoming crowded because the people are so much aware, the population is increasing, there are certain reasons, that is what the houses have been increasing since many years. But earlier this situation was not there. So there was actually the distance between the two houses around half kilometer or 1 kilometer. Okay, but nowadays we do not find such situation. But there are many villages in our India, such as if you go to Rajasthan, slopes of the Himalayas or the tribal parts of our India, there you will find this dispersed type of settlements. And many villages today also, if you see of our India, they have this type of settlements only, dispersed type of settlements. Okay, so let us understand the settlement of Brazil. So do we find the same settlements as we've found in India in Brazil? So let us see this. Actually the settlements which is formed in Brazil, actually this settlement is found by the Europe mainly. Okay, in the coastal areas of Brazil. So now these settlements are crowded, dense population we find in this coastal region of Brazil. So what are the major factors behind of it? Let us find out. So the major factors, if we see, that the settlements which we see to the coastal areas of Brazil. Okay, so because of the, although we find that the climate is humid and hot in the coastal areas of Brazil, basically we are going to discuss about the Sao Paulo region. So we do not find the much flat land in Sao Paulo region. Now why we do not find the much flat land in Sao Paulo region? There are the certain reasons. For example, we find no rugged topography in Sao Paulo region. That is what we do not find the much flat land in Sao Paulo region. So this region has a good availability of water, and also natural resources also we find in much amount in Sao Paulo region. So these are the reasons. That is what the settlements increased in Sao Paulo region. We find a dense population also in Sao Paulo region. But some important points also we should remember about the Sao Paulo region is that the soil of the Sao Paulo region is very rich, and as it is very rich, so that is what the people they grow there the coffee plants in Sao Paulo region, okay, in large amount. Not only coffee, but also we find the different types of minerals also in Sao Paulo region. For example, iron ore. These types of minerals also we find in Sao Paulo region, and also steady energy supply also we find in Sao Paulo region. So my dear students, these are the important factors or the things of Sao Paulo region. Okay. Also, the southeastern area of Brazil basically has a good transport system, and due to this good transport system, okay, the population increased, the development took the place, and that is what this makes the Sao Paulo region nucleated settlement. Now what is nucleated settlement? So earlier I explained you what is nucleated settlement. So the houses are very close to each other, the huge buildings we find in nucleated settlement pattern. So this type of settlement pattern we find in Sao Paulo region. You can see here the huge buildings you can see in Sao Paulo region. Okay, so why? Because we find the different types of facilities such as transport facility, education facility, medical facility, water facilities, and some other facilities which are necessary for the development of a urban area. Such facilities we find in the Sao Paulo region. So that is what this makes this Sao Paulo region nucleated settlement. Okay. On the other hand, if we think about the rural areas of Brazil, so basically the rural areas of Brazil, for example, northeast highlands, there we find the extremely droughts. Okay, and as we find the extremely droughts in the highlands, okay, northeast highlands basically, so this makes difficult for the people to go there and do the agriculture farming activities. So we do not find much agricultural activities are done in the northeast highlands. That is what the maybe the much settlements we do not find in the northeast highlands. Now if we think about the settlements become sparse, okay, where the settlement becomes sparse, so settlements become the sparse near to the Amazon river basin. Now why the settlements become the sparse near to the Amazon river basin? Because of the dense forested area. Okay, you can see here in the image so much dense forest area is there. Facilities are not available over there due to the dense forest area. The facilities we do not provide over there, and that is what this basically the central part of Brazil has less settlement patterns almost. Okay, but also this area is covered with the equatorial rainforest. Okay, so the climate is here unhealthy. It means it rains heavily in this region basically. So the climate is also unfit in this region. So the limitations of use of natural resources, then the availability of the facilities, then the poor transportation. Due to this all the reasons, we do not find the much settlements in this region. Okay. So my dear students, I hope that you understood this today's topic very well, the human settlements of India and Brazil. In the next video lecture, we will continue the second part of this human settlements. Thank you very much.